Good morning and welcome to Icon Best 2021, a virtual conference on built environment, science and technology organized by School of Architecture and Interior Design, SRM Institute of Science and Technology. I, Architect A.R. Narayani, Associate Professor, School of Architecture and Interior Design, have the honor of hosting this conference room 1 of Icon Best 2021 today on 20th February 2021, day 1. The conference room has presentations of 12 eminent celebrity speakers from across the globe on topics pertaining to various aspects of built environment, science and technology. I welcome one and all, and I am very glad and excited to be amongst all of you in this conference. I am glad to introduce our first speaker for the day, Architect T.S. Ramani Shankar, Chief Architect and Senior Partner, Shankar and Associates, Coimbatore, India.
It's my pleasure and I'm glad to be part of Icon Best 2021 organized by School of Architecture and Interior Design, SRM University of Science and Technology, Chennai. I was told that you are organizing an international conference on architecture and interior design. As an architect who has been practicing for the last 53 years in a tier 2 city, we've got a lot of things which I can share with you about my experience and practice. As an architect who started the career in 1967, we faced several characters, several clients, several incidents which has molded us into one of the senior architects practicing in this area. Today, we are working on institutional buildings, hospitals, housing, group housing, and various other industrial structures. It will be a pleasure to share my experience with you, and I would prefer if you can ask me some of your questions and I'll be glad to answer those things, whatever I think best out of my experience and knowledge. My concept of architecture, my working method of architecture, our office's interaction with architecture is a little different from what is called ideal architecture. I will divide architecture in my concept as three compartments. One is what you teach in the universities, School of Architecture, is that creativity, space creation, earth-hugging architecture, environmentally friendly architecture, using local materials. Yes, that is ideal for our students to get in. That is excellent for the teachers to teach the students about kindling their interest in architecture. The other one is what has been created by international icons as edifices in architecture, like world's best buildings, world's tallest buildings, world's best structures created by what you call masters of architecture. You look up and say with awe, saying that they have created this. We call them masters. But another side, the third side of architecture is people like us who practice architecture and do architecture for people in this area, in and around, according to their requirement, according to their environment, according to their budget, and according to their living style. We architects don't force or don't dictate. This is how we have got to live. We talk to them, we interact with them, we understand them, their type of living, their family background, and their budget, and design the building accordingly. When the housewife says, "This is my house, I am successful," but that house may not win an award for best creation, but I have done a house satisfying them for their need, for their utility, for their budget, and for their environment. It is their proud portion. That lady will convert that house into a home. They will add life to it. The most important thing is we teach the client, we talk to them, and we teach them how the architecture goes, how they can utilize the building, how they can enjoy the space. Whatever we are creating, we talk to them. That is how our architecture works. Many of them, this house is a valuable possession. As I told you, estimate is not cost. Cost is not value. We estimate X, end up in X plus Y, and the value derived by the family is X plus Y plus infinity. That is what we do as architects in these areas of practice. One is what is called ideal architecture. But ideal architecture can be ideal architecture for the person who wants the building. That also can be an ideal architecture. There is nothing called future of architecture. Right from Robinson Crusoe days, when a man wanted shelter, the architecture has been growing. The thought giveth thought and form giveth form can never change. As the younger generation changes their thought, changes their living pattern, changing their values for architecture, the architecture has to change for them to adapt that architecture. I would like to tell one phrase which is important for young architecture. To be static, you have got to be dynamic. If you want to be the practicing architecture, marketing your thoughts, imbibing your thoughts of architecture, your thoughts of form, which we architects always say, function will dictate the form and form will dictate the character. So every time the function changes, the form changes. When a form changes, the character changes. But one thing is which is important, when you do a house, the character of a house shall remain as a house, even though the form changes, because the function does not change. The function of a house, either today, tomorrow, or day after tomorrow is same. Function of a school, today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow is the same. Function of a hospital, today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow is the same. But the form may change. The character has to be same. So we have got to take it through, young architects. You have got to live in the society, think about it, and develop yourself to adapt to the changing needs of the society. Then we are present there. The architects will have the value. As I understand, when I started my practice 50 years back, the understanding of architecture was different. And then as it moved, the evolution of architecture was different. Today, many people want architects to design their houses, and even though they have their own needs, their own tastes, their own wishes, they are willing to accept some of the architect's creations and accept and adapt it in their buildings. So the architects in the future, the most important thing is they have got to visualize things with the changing need of the society, and play with the society, play with the material which is available, go with the needs of the society, living pattern, which is very, very important. The future is great, and the young architects are very smart. Only thing is they have got to adapt themselves to the future. And every building is a challenge. Every client is a challenge. The most important thing is, one, various clients come with various site dimensions in various locations. There is somebody who comes from a farmhouse, he has got 40 acres of land. He wants us to choose the land. He says you can take 1 or 2 acres. The space is no problem. When somebody buys a site in a dense area of a metropolis, his cost has gone for the site itself majority. For instance, I am doing a house in Bangalore. The client has bought the site for 8 crores. The site is 1.5 crores in Indiranagar. The building is going to cost only 3.5 crores. So if you take it, the land cost is double of the building's cost. How do you design the building? How do you give his requirements? It's a challenge. If I am doing a house in a farm or outside in an urban area, the land cost is 1/4 of the building cost. How do I challenge it? Can I do a single floor house spreading? Whereas in Bangalore I will go vertical. So these are the challenges which we face. And another challenge is, as I was telling you about materials, the man wanted the house will be very environmentally friendly. So we were going in for a clay tiles on the flooring with wooden beadings and everything. The wife challenged, saying that I cannot maintain it. So we have to compromise. So we went in for clay tile like ceramic tile and compromise it, even though the feel will be different. Somebody will come, I am only talking about relative about the houses. Somebody will come and say, sir, I work 12 hours, go home, have my dinner, go to my bedroom, I want a large bedroom. The next man comes and tells me, sir, I work 12 hours and I have my dinner, spend time with my kids, go and jump into the bed and sleep. What is the use of large bedroom, sir? I want a small bedroom. The concept of living is different from each other. It's a challenge every day. Similarly, institution building. There are people, the promoters of institutions, who ask for economy in everything. Economy in space, economy in material, economy of contracts. Other people say, okay, we don't want economy. We would like to have space, larger space, using the best material. So these are changes. Everybody has got to change. This is something like you go to a restaurant, soup is served to everybody, sauce is kept separately, pepper is kept separately, salt is kept separately. Each one wants what he needs, like that. Every building, every client whom we get has got a different challenges. We have got to work with different characters, different requirement, different financial status, different materials. We have got to work on it. That is what is making us continuously work for last 50 years in this architecture. Many countries I have visited, all over the world I have gone. I have gone to School of Architecture, I have given a talk. I have seen many of the impressive structures, tall building, campuses, exterior buildings, today's modern architecture. But one thing which has etched in my mind and which has created what is called unexplainable emotions is FLWs, Frank Wright's falling water. When I visited the building, I was thunderstruck. I have seen the pictures. I have read about Frank Wright. I have seen all his buildings. I have seen Johnson's Wax House. I have seen various things. Guggenheim Museum. But this is his smallest structure, the masterpiece. How he has blended his architecture with nature, yet creating a modern edifice. Beautiful cantilevers, beautiful canopies, beautiful decks, and water falling below with the rocks and trees is something what he has created in 1950s. I don't know whether any of us can surpass it. I tried it many times. I worked on it many times. Probably I did not get the client to suit my thought, or I didn't have my thoughts to suit the clients. Either way, that is something which I couldn't accomplish. I think any other architects, I guess whether they have accomplished it. But this man is great. This architect is great. For years to come, that building, Falling Water, will remain as the greatest in my mind, probably to the many minds in the architectural field. That is my sincere effort. With my 50 plus years of practice, every year I have been learning something. I have been either learning from the client, either from the builder, either from the society, or from the young architects who are working with us. We keep learning. The very fact that I have lasted for all these years and still with my age running in 79 trying to reach 80, I would certainly say most important thing is continuous learning. Any architect, young architects, I would like to tell that don't stop learning. You should be one step forward in knowledge than what you had yesterday. After all, this knowledge is going to take you further. When I mean knowledge, it is not only architectural knowledge, creative ability, you should have material knowledge, you should have application knowledge, and you should know how to detail it. In my career, I have slipped many times. I have managed, I stepped up, I have learned many things. Architectural learning never ends. The world is moving. You have got to move. To be static, you have got to be dynamic. Keep moving. Keep learning. That is what is more important. I am not a competent person to talk about world architecture because our area of operation is restricted to India and some African countries. The architecture is like this. Your creativity, your architecture, some people will like it. This is something like palette of individual. You should know how to carry your space within that. You should know how to operate within that area. You should not exist you should survive. Next level, as an architect, you should live. Then you should aesthetically live. You should gloriously live. And you should live in a way that you are proud of yourself, so that your buildings will talk about you. It was nice sharing my time with you. It was nice that Anika has asked me various probing questions, and I am glad that I am able to share my thoughts with you. I thank the Department of Architecture and Interior Design of SRM Institute of Technology for this opportunity which you have given to me. And I hope and trust that these discussions will be useful to people. This is the expression of the architect who started his career with a hope, rolled on the road, flew on the sky, faced many problems, and practiced more than 5 decades. This is the experience of such person. Thank you.
Thank you, Architect Ramani Shankar, for that wonderful presentation. We will now have a short sponsor break.
Trust EPCO for all the furniture hardware. EPCO, simplifying lives.
Live Smart by EPCO. Intelligent hardware for homes.